Well, hello guys, welcome back. The fox sparked today. Odin's been trying to force me to go against my nature. And it got me to a point where Loki can sometimes be cruel to be kind with us. He knew I wouldn't stand up to Odin. He knew I wouldn't stand up to Odin. We keep going through this cycle where Odin pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes way too damn far. And I go along with Odin and my helpless little fox paws are up in the air. And then there's this kind of backwards and you know I go the other way, and sometimes I go too far just to make up for everything Odin took away. Like Odin took all these physical things away. No, he's right. I had to move forward with my life. Don't worry, the magnets aren't gone. In fact, they'll probably be replaced after this video. They're just on the sides of the fridge, so nothing really changed there. And, I've noticed I've added one or two things back in so it doesn't look so austere. I decorate, like it's a carnival or something. We know that. And the fox finally barked. I asked Loki to do the runes with me, and we did the runes, and I got Athala, and I'm like, I hate this rune. And then I looked it up, and it was Loki's answer. Loki is the common sense deity that if there's something in your psychological makeup or your past that you need 50 different gods to worship and love and be with, Loki don't give two shits. As long as Loki's number one god, Loki really don't care. I'm getting, yeah! And he don't give two shits. Odin is the one that, for as wise as he's supposed to be, he has glaring blind spots. And I will be the first to say that as someone that works with him all the time. Odin can only see the reality Odin wants to see, and he feels that if he's belligerent enough and he bullies you, because I've told him, I said, dude, you're a bully. He really is. If he bullies you enough, he will get his damn way. And if that don't work with me, he will either bully me, or if that don't work, he will get out the world's tiniest violin, and he will, you don't love me. If you loved me, you'd do things my way. And I'm like, that's fucking manipulation. That's what my family used to do. Where with Loki, he was like, okay, I'm going to let this play out, and you're going to lose some stuff, but you're going to learn some lessons. Probably not, because I will always let my deities walk over me. That's a blind spot I have, and I know I can't get rid of it. And I'm glad for a lot of the stuff that went away, because it was driving me nuts, and the room does look nice, but that didn't do anything magically, and the important thing for me is that if we're going to take a big dramatic step, then the universe or Loki or Odin or someone has to say, here's exactly why you took this big dramatic step. Here is the payoff. Here you go. It's kind of like when I went on that crazy weight loss journey, the very bad diet that the doctor put me on, and I was blacking out and I was having health problems and everything. I was getting really sick. Once I lost the weight, nothing manifested in my life. They always make it sound like you're going to be living on the beach and you're going to win the lottery and all this stuff. And I'm talking about like with it over a year's time, I kept the weight off. Nothing manifested in my life. Didn't magically become better. And I thought, why am I doing this bullshit? I'm starving myself. I'm having health issues, all this other stuff. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I made a promise to my body that if it would ever recover, if it would just recover, I would feed it a healthy amount of food. And it could be whatever size it wants to be. And I've kept that promise to my body. And with Loki, Loki's like, how much does the universe have to hit you over the head with the fact that you cannot operate on Odin's level of Odin only god, Norse gods only gods? He said, you're not bad. And he says, you want options. And he says, once you have the options, you calm down and you don't care. Because, remember I told you Odin had me talk to God, and it seemed like Odin was God or something? God's energy, whomever God is this beautiful, transcendent, gentle energy. It's not Odin energy in the slightest, because it's this loving, accepting, totally beautiful energy. Maybe it's something I made up in my head, I don't know. But it's comforting, and when I work with that energy, I know everything's going to be alright. And God's a God, not just energy, but it's everything's going to be all right. And I'm calm and I'm centered. And Loki doesn't, mind that. Loki's practical. I think from his part of the pantheon, where a lot of people like to ignore him or pretend he never existed or he was made up, he's very used to having to work around things. So if he sees that you go and you do this thing and this is the one thing that calms you down, yeah, it's in his nature to say, well, I wish I could be the one to calm you down that fast. But he's like, you know what? That calmed you down like within less than a minute. That really calmed you down. Maybe you should do this more often. I'll say, we'll talk to Odin. And Odin will just start to screech and scream, or get bullying and belligerent. And Odin has to have things Odin's way. And you'll see it's going to work out. He's making Odin promises again. And I'm thinking, why would Odin keep doing this? Why would Odin keep making Odin promises he's not going to deliver on? And I asked Loki, and Loki's just kind of giving me this pitying look. And I said, look, you're the one that told me to let him take over the household. And Loki's like, mm-hmm. And I'm forgetting Loki's a trickster, right? Odin's a trickster too, but Loki's like the better at it trickster. And I get a sense of pride. And he will give all the other gods enough rope to hang themselves with. Yeah. And he will let you keep running into walls until you realize that if you would just look up and see the damn wall and walk around the damn wall, maybe you wouldn't be running into walls all the time. I'm hearing, And he needed me to keep trying to work with Odin and have Odin main deity in the household and give Odin his way and everything to see that it was never going to work. He's like, how do you feel now? Terrible. Where's all your stuff? Gone. Uh-huh. And that seems like a horribly cruel thing, but it was time for me to let go of this stuff. So in one sense, Odin did do the right thing. But in a very other sense, I needed Loki to come back in. I needed that Fox Totem energy to come back in because I need playfulness in my life. I can't just get up to go to work, do the stuffs, not have funs. Because that makes my anxiety kick up and that makes my depression kick up. And I'm like, we have 3 more days of hot weather left. And then it's going to be cold as flu for at least a week or so. It might warm up a little more. Like October, I could tell you from decades of decorating for Halloween, October can be really punishing in this state. It can get, especially if you are painting or gluing something outside in a Halloween prop, it can just, it's like the sun comes out on purpose to screw with you, and I would have props just fall apart, and I would be going out and gluing them 6 or 7 times a day, and the sun would just come and knock them apart. And the day after Halloween, the sun would be like, yeah, I'm done, and go, and you would never see it again for 6 months. But again, sun god hates you. Thank you, dear. Again, and it was October 1st, and if Loki's in charge, we find a way to make it fun, even if we can't do what we wanted, because, as soon as I started working with Fox Totem for me is very impulsive and kind of hard to control. And my foxiness wants to buy all the foods, have all the foods in the house, and then keep going out and eating fast food. And I did not win the lottery, so this isn't possible. I can either go out and eat fast food or have all the foods in the house. I can't do both. And I'm one of those people that eat fast food 15 minutes later, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. That's why I can pack on so much weight if I eat a lot of fast food, because it's like I ate it. It's like I literally didn't eat. It's like for most people how Chinese is, you can eat, right? And you're stuffed and you ate all the teach food. Half hour later, it's like you didn't even eat, right? For me, fast food is the same way. Like I eat it, it's like Chinese food. Half hour later, I'm starved. I didn't eat anything. So it's kind of, I think it's kind of a metaphor too, like for working with Odin. I can overwork with Odin and then get sad and depressed. And I need to remember I am a Lokean. And it can be very easy to forget that once you have other gods starting to come in. And Loki's like, he really doesn't care who I work with. He really doesn't care how many gods I have. I don't know if I said that. He really doesn't care how many gods we have in that. If Loki wants to be number one god, he will let you know. He will find out ways to be number one god, and he will send you, good luck, fortune, whatever. And I think he wanted me to see Odin was just for Odin reasons, making promises to string me along. Odin can be almost a bit too much where you wonder if he really feels what he says he feels or if he's just overacting to get your attention to keep you near Odin. Um, I just got this really sad kind of wry shrug over there. And with Loki, Loki's honest. If Loki's done with your shit today, he's going to tell you. If Loki loves you and can't get enough of you today, he's going to tell you. If Loki can see Odin's not good for you, he's gonna tell you. And he's repeatedly told me, Loki will say, Odin's no good for you. He's no good for you. I don't like how you get when you're around him. You just give up on life in general. But then, I will be like, okay, I'm giving up on Odin, and Loki will change his mind, go, Odin's good for you. And I'm like, pick a lane, dude. And Loki's just shrugging. I think it's a thing of they are blood brothers or brothers, depending on which mythology you believe. And he does have, to a certain extent, a loyalty to Odin. He always will, and he'll always love Odin, and he'll always want to hide Odin's body where we'll never find it, too. He just kind of feels that way. I go, mm-hmm. And, I just had to get away from Odin for the day. Maybe for a long time. Because, now I'm looking around now that the dust has settled, now that the mental energy is cleared out, and I'm like, I have I have stuff in my house, but it feels like I have nothing in my house. So I'm really kind of freaked out right now because it's too late to go back. It's too late to go get the stuff. Trash pickup isn't until tomorrow, but it's like we have a thing because people in my family can tend to hoard. Once it's like out in the staging area, it does not come back in. So I think it was useful to let go of it, but Loki's also like, maybe you need to put Odin aside for a while and work with Loki, because remember Lokean, remember work with me. So we're gonna be doing that today, and like I said, Loki doesn't care how many directions we go off in, because he knows we'll eventually come back to Loki, and he knows it's a thing. You can't just take a person, we're not robots, you can't just take a person, reprogram us, and expect us to do whatever you think people should do if they call themselves a Lokean or whatever. That's not what works. You still have the attachments you have from the time before you start working with Loki or, whatever else. And he'd have us stop beating ourselves up for that because, in the end, as I said before, I think, it's not this Christian idea of like reviewing our sins or that New Age idea of reviewing our life, but I do think we're going to have to answer to whatever God we feel accountable to and say, well, this is why I did what I did at specific times. I don't think it's like a punishment thing. I think it's just going to be like for Lokeans. Loki's going to be there with his arms crossed and be like, okay, you have some things to explain to me. So for me right now, it's Loki Day. And it's time to, kind of try to let go of that death grip on Odin energy and everything so that that need to push everything out of the house stops. Because, then it becomes too much and you're clearing out everything. And like I said, I can't pump the brakes on my own. I need somebody to come in and put the brakes on. So we're going to try to find a happy medium. I know that prayer wasn't the most exciting thing, but I've noticed that Odin has a habit of taking over and pushing Loki out of the way. And Loki, for whatever reason, with me, he won't fight back. He won't push his way back to the front. He used to, but now not so much. I think it's just he kind of needs to know we have his back, and he kind of needs us to make some decisions where it feels like Odin is purposely leading me in all the wrong directions. I don't know why I would do it. I have no idea, Odin. Um, and he keeps asking you to have faith without delivering on any of what I'm calling the Odin promises, where Loki will just shrug and say, "What do you want?" You've read the stories, you know there's a kernel of truth in at least every story, and he's like, "You can't have blind faith. This isn't, this isn't Jesus. You can't have blind faith. These are gods known for, cheating and stealing and lying and everything else." He's like, don't have blind faith. Don't be a sucker. If you want someone you can absolutely trust and you know will never abandon you and everything, that's Jesus. He said, I'm sorry, baby, but with Odin, if your mind is screaming at you that something's going to happen, something's going to happen, something's going to happen, it can be Fox Totem for me, it can, because Fox Totem people have huge abandonment issues. We really do. We're afraid you're going to go away, so it makes us really obnoxious and it ends up chasing you away. But it's also like, Loki's like, you have to trust your foxy instincts. And if your foxy instincts tell you Odin's going to eventually walk away, then maybe you should trust that. And I hate to say that if you work with Odin, but it's like, there's a part of me that just, no matter what we've done, no matter how many beautiful rituals we've done to welcome Odin in or dedicate the house to Odin or any of the other crazy stuff we did, we've never really settled together. And it's one of those things. And I finally had enough. I lit a candle to Loki today, and I'm like, you have to save me from myself. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but you have to turn this around, because I just really realized all my stuff is gone. You see, I have stuff behind me. I'm like, all my stuff is gone, and I don't know what to do. And your brother in And Loki's like, there. It's okay. We kept the video game system. We just put it away. So we have that. We have the magnets. We have the cats left. We did not throw the cats out. So we have a lot of stuff left. It's just Odin will help you, and then if there's collateral damage, oh well. I think that's the difference, where Loki will be very nurturing the whole way through. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.